Hi, folks. You are watching and listening to a very special edition of Open Bar here on Tequila Aficionado Media. I'm Mike Morales here in Southern California. We're very, very honored to have that gentleman over there. He is Eduardo Lalo Camarena. And my cohort, my co-host, my partner in crime on that side of the screen is
Jim Johnston in Youngstown, Ohio.
Jim and I. The reason I have Jim on with us, Lalo, is that Jim and I did the review for Camarena Tequila, and that review won't be seen until
Carrera Tequila.
Carrera. I'm sorry. Why am I? Wow. Okay, you're right. Thank you for correcting me. I'm gonna hold it so that way I know what I'm looking at. It's just a Jim.
That last name is just so ubiquitous with tequila that
yeah. You're. It's like you can't. It's like a bug in your head. You can't get rid of it.
Yeah.
And Jim and I, when we did the review, I said, Jim, I don't know what branch of the Camarena family this gentleman is from, but we fell in love with your tequila. That review will be seen in 2022. We're filming this in the last part of 2021. You'll probably see this first quarter somewhere. And I want people to know your story because we had nothing to go on except the information that we were provided, the background of the story and all that. But the juice was telling another story that was even deeper. And I thought, you know what? I got to get in touch with Eduardo, and we got to do the interview because we not only did the review, but then we had all these other questions like, where are they coming from, and how come we've never heard from them? And off camera, Lalo explained the family tree. So, Lalo, can I call you Lalo? Is that okay? Because I know that.
Please.
This is Carrera Tequila, folks. This is going to be the next greatest branch of the Camarena family, and all their own. And if you haven't seen that review, if it hasn't played yet, go back and watch it. Lalo, tell me where you fit in. Where's your branch of the family, of the Camarena family, fits into Carrera?
Okay, so well, we are the Camarena family. We comes from the same great grandfather, which is Pedro Camarena. We all come from the same. My great grandfather, Agustin Camarena, co-founded with his brother Jorge Lalteña in 1937. Then they separated, and my great grandfather Agustin founded La Arandina in 1938. Both distilleries are at Arandas, as you may know. So he founded La Arandina, and that's where my most close family come from. They launched Camarena Tequila like a long time ago, which was a brand at that time that sold very well. Then they started with Casco Viejo, which was like number 5 in the world at 2008. Number 1 in Mexico at that time on volume wise. And then they relaunched Camarena Tequila. They partnership with AJ Gallo, and they relaunched Camarena, which is this brand, as you may know it. So my father is actually, his name is here on the bottle, on the glass. He's Mauricio. So that's where I come from. He's one of the faces of Camarena and the producers. And my father, he wanted a premium tequila, so he came to me like 7 years ago with this dream of having a more premium brand, something that he created from the start to the finish. So I helped him develop this brand, this image. He's the maestro tequilero. He's in charge of the tequila. He's in charge of the caldo. He always says that he was born under a steel because when he was like 12 years old, he went to work to the distillery with his great grandfather. He was very close to him because my grandfather he passed away very young and my father was very, very young, so he was very close to his great grandfather, which is my great
Wow.
grandfather Agustin. So yeah, that's why we launched this tequila, this Carrera. This is the añejo.
This is
So
this
yeah.
is Jim and I, we went bananas over this whole because the the quality fell right in line with El Tesoro and with G4, and the quality was at that level. I mean, that's a high bar because a lot of people are in love with the Camarena name and each of the different styles of tequila that are coming from those different distilleries. And I
True.
was not aware up until off camera when Lalo showed me that bottle of Camarena. You said something really interesting that in the United States, it's a partnership between you and Gallo, correct? But the
Yes.
rest of the world, you folks, your family still owns that brand, and it is still made. Uh, the For the American market, it's made somewhere else at another distillery. For the
Yes.
rest of the world, you guys are still making it. And I said, that's not fair because I really liked it when it first came out. It had a great premise. They had the food truck. It was the first time that they had paired a food truck with a tequila,
Bro.
and they were making tacos with it, and it was a very popular. I still have pictures of the splash that it made, and I told Jim, I may have told this story before, but I was invited to Angel Stadium for a rollout in Southern California where Camarena was being introduced to a bunch of journalists and not, at that time there wasn't so many influencers. And you're right. I think the quality has gone more mainstream. But when it first came out, it was really delicious, and for the price, it wasn't bad. So, Jim, what sort of questions did you have for Lalo? Because I knew we had a whole bunch of questions. Um, Obviously, go ahead. You go first because I can go on and on, but
Well, and first of all, this is without a doubt one of the better tequilas I've had in my career here at Tequila Aficionado. So,
Thank you.
congratulations on that. Honestly, unfortunately, and we're coming out of the pandemic where I've had some friends over in the past couple months while this was sitting on the bar, and they got to it a little bit before I did, and I said, okay, you can't have any more, and now it's going way far away, and it's just for me now. But I'm kind of our resident bourbon guy on Tequila Aficionado, and you guys use virgin barrels, not used barrels. And first of all, why virgin, and why did you decide to go that route? And do you source them similarly to how you get the used bourbon barrels, or is it totally different?
Well, we call them virgin because they haven't had any other different spirit than tequila on them. So that's why we use the term virgin, not bourbon, not cognac, not champagne. So we really like this brand. When we launched it, we wanted something pure. We wanted to bring tequila to the people. And when I say tequila, this is just tequila. I mean, we do pure tequila. We use no additives. We use no different barrels than tequila barrels because we want to maintain something the purest way. And if you can read on the labels, on this label, it says puro de agave. I used that word puro because it really is not because I wanted to just put puro de agave. It because it really is puro. We don't have additives. We don't have any other spirit on the barrels. So yeah, that's why we use virgin barrels for these profiles. Of course, we're planning new profiles in some point, short term. But for this main lineup, we wanted to maintain it the purest way.
we loved it, and it's interesting because again, we didn't know you prior to doing the tasting. We just had the information provided, but it was almost like we started to I started to surmise and make assumptions and try to formulate this whole thing, and I go, this is right in line with what we already know about the Camarenas, and that they're that they're agave growers, and they want to present their agave in the best way possible. So the less they interfere with that, the more the agave comes through. And we were impressed, because nowadays Jim and I had several tequilas together, several reviews under our belts. And what's interesting is that they all have different flavor profiles, and some of them have, as Jim says, bourbon profiles and cognac profiles and French oak, influences. And with the Camarenas, you can pretty much rely on not having a whole lot of influence, because they are agave growers. Now, you obviously, you folks have your own huertas and your own property. Tell us how old the agave is before you harvest it for this line, for this brand.
Well, for Carrera, we try to use the maximum that everyone is using on years right now, which is around 7 years, 6, 7 years. I mean, people can tell you that it will be cut at 8 years, 9 years, but everyone is good at the top at 7, I think, because right now the agave, it's the business is growing so fast. Everyone is adding chemics or something into the harvesting in order to cut them on 4 years, 5 years agave. And you see the big pineapples of agave, like in 5 years, and because they are adding something. But we try to use the traditional harvest agave on a 7 years average, and that's what maintains like the quality and of the purest agave. The sugars and everything on it. So yeah, that's around the age.
Just out of curiosity, what's your average bricks on your pinas?
Our average bricks.
Uh-huh.
I don't have that information.
It's okay. You don't. I say that because the Camarenas are kind of known for doing it properly, and then and they, even when they say the number of bricks, people don't believe them. You know what I mean? Because we know that there's no law that says they have to be a certain bricks, but I know that among tequileros and agaveros, they prefer a certain amount of bricks. And so I just kind of wondered, because the character that comes through in this tequila, and again, folks, it's Carrera Tequila. You got to get it, okay? The character that comes through is just, like I said, it just falls right in line with what we already know in the American market, and probably in Europe now at this point. That's why I asked. I mean,
no, don't worry. I mean, technical questions. My father, he's the one on the tequila side. I'm more on the commercial part of the company, on the direction of the company. But I mean, general terms, I can answer you. But on the bricks terms, he's the one that could have that question answered.
How recently did you launch this brand?
How recently?
Uh-huh.
It has like 5 years and a half. It has 5 years and a half. We went through a lot of situations in the US. So we finally had it really. I mean, we launched it like 5 years ago. We had a situation with the distributor because he wanted to purchase the brand and the brand was new. So we were like, come on, the brand value is nothing right now. So we wanted to grow the brand before. So he didn't want to distribute then, and we find another distributor. Then COVID comes. So it has been.
My God.
Yeah.
Really tough.
Typical for me, I'm always the one harping on this is why we can't have nice things in the United States, is because it's so hard to get good stuff to the people here.
Exactly.
But I just had a little bit of a question about, a lot of this process, because this is probably the only other place in the spirits industry, aside from wine, where you guys have control from the ground to the bottle a lot of the time. The grape grower is also the wine producer in most cases, whereas here the agave grower is also in charge of the tequila. And so a lot of that agave comes through. But I mean, is that one of the things that you were going for, was capturing a little bit of that Arandas terroir and getting a little bit of that flavor of where you guys are actually growing and looking out over those fields and just putting that taste as much as you could in a bottle?
Exactly. My father has always said that he wanted to do a tequila the way his grandfather taught him. So he wanted to do the most traditional way tequila. So yeah, that he wants to translate to how can I say it, to bring that to people, so they can taste the real taste of Arandas tequila or a Highlands tequila, the way his grandfather taught him. So yeah,
Wow.
that's his objective with this brand.
You said your father's name is Don Mauricio. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yes.
Tell your father, tell Don Mauricio that he succeeded, and he
Oh my gosh,
over-delivered.
yeah.
He over-delivered. Tell him to pull back. I mean,
well, and I just thought it was interesting because I did get that sense, because if you look at the back of the labels on these bottles, your whole method is there for everybody to see. I mean, everything that you do is very transparent, but it was interesting to me when I tasted this and I saw that the barrels were unadulterated. I kind of got the sense that this is supposed to have this kind of pure expression of the agave. How much different is this, your father and your grandfather? How much do they think there's a difference between this way of doing it and all the stuff that's hitting the market in mass right now, just trying to be kicked out so that there's thousands and thousands of bottles to be on the shelf? I mean, is it this much? Is it a mile? How different from 1938 when the first one started rolling?
No, I mean, it's pretty different right now. I mean, there's no way you can supply the demand on those brands that sells millions of cases a year with the traditional ways of producing tequila. There's no way they will do it. So right now, the diffuser that is being used in order to extract everything from the agave plant. So you extract some stuff that shouldn't be extracted into the final product. So yeah, that's the quality. That's some stuff that you will lose for at that price of the volume, right? But yeah. There's very, I mean, there's very different processes. There's more artisanal or ancestral process, and there's the industrial process, and there's way more industrial with the diffuser right now that it's another the technology, and the technology sometimes is good for some things, but for purposes of having a good food or a good beverage, that industrial processes are not the way to go.
Right.
Yeah, the shortcuts just never make. I would imagine that you and your father are probably not are happier doing this kind of thing, this kind of a product, because taking shortcuts will never make you happy. Yeah, it's just every little detail, folks. Again, go watch the review if it's out right now. Everything you need to know is on the back of this label. But for those of you who are big fans of the Camarena family and the Camarena name and the quality, don't hesitate when you see this bottle out there. You need to see this one's got Lalo's signature on there. I don't know if you can see that or not. But so how involved are you in the process yourself? I mean, where do you fit in? I mean, I imagine that you learned the business from the ground up, but are you, what's your favorite aspect of the business? Do you like distillation? Do you like agave growing? Do you like the marketing part of it? I mean, is that
No, no, no. I love everything about the process. I mean, when I was young, my father brought me to the fields, and I was himando agaves. I've been on the warehouses packaging small bottles when I was young. I've been on the distillery along many times for long times. So yeah, I love all the processes. I love traveling. I was the export international sales at Camarena, at Casa Camarena. So I traveled a lot of countries selling tequila when I was 23 years old.
Oh my
Um,
God.
right now I'm 32. So yeah, I mean I
So
love
you're semi-retired now, right?
I go.
Semi-retired. Oh wow.
No, but I love every part of the process, especially on Carrera. When I come in, it's on innovation. So I keep telling my father which way we should go. Uh, he loves to do, of course, the stuff and the volume, and he likes the volume a lot. But I tell him that that's not the way we are aiming at Carrera. We are aiming on selling good quality stuff and low volume, of course, medium volume, but good quality. So we need to focus on innovation and new things. For example, last year we released the Cristalino for the Mexican market, which is a success here in Mexico. I know in the US Cristalinos are not very well doing, but here in Mexico, Cristalino is a category that is growing really fast. This is a Reposado Cristalino. You can find it now at our distributor, so you'll probably find it later on stores.
Yeah,
Also,
that's one we didn't get, Jim.
No,
Yeah.
yeah,
no, but well, and I get that you know we've got our own idea of what should be up here in the United States, and I think it's completely different in Mexico. Besides the U.S., what do you think is the next big market for tequila, and where are you guys looking in terms of distribution that's going to be the next hotspot?
well, I don't know. I mean, there's a few markets that are growing really fast. For example, Australia is growing really fast. Colombia is another market that is really interested into tequila. And of
Wow.
course, the traditional markets, UK is a big market for tequila and has always been. Japan also has always been a new market for tequila. Right now, we're speaking with people at China from Shanghai. So I think. One of the biggest market maybe for these kind of brands like the Camarena family brands, all the brands that you mentioned will be China, maybe Hong Kong, the ultra premium bars and those places where they like to drink good stuff, you know?
Right.
Yeah, that's it. That's a tough market, though. I mean, there's got the pros are great, but then the list for cons is also great. You know, there's a quite a challenge in Asia. You know, but it doesn't. You know, I guess the fearless go. Yeah, I mean, this horse, you can't stop this horse, man.
No.
This is gonna be this is. How many states are you in? Do you know? Because like I said, I found you all on Instagram, which is where I'm tending to find a lot of newer brands when they're launching. I'm keeping an eye on several of them because what we've done for 22 years at Tequila Aficionado is look and seek new brands. And you know, by the same token, there's a lot of a lot of mass market brands contact us and send us samples that, you know, but they don't need us. You know,
Yeah.
I always look for something really cutting edge, and you know, I like to give a voice to the brands that maybe people aren't aware of yet. How many states are you in right now?
So basically, we're right now in California, Texas, Arizona, Nevada, and Washington. Those five states, I'm very aware that we are with my distributor. He's the strongest on those states, uh, but he's supposed to be nationwide distributor. So I think he will be grow a little by little to other states. Excuse me.
Coming last to Ohio.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
I'm always the redheaded stepchild in this one. I never get anything
Jim,
except what gets sent to me to be tasted here. So, but I'll find you guys somewhere, I'm sure. I've got I've got friends in low places. We'll get it.
Do you have an online retailer where people can find this online?
Yeah, there's a. I just look at it actually. There's this retailer, Old Town Tequila. It's
Oh
called.
yeah. We,
He has our stuff. Of course, the Tequila Hombre, which has been a great help for us from the brand. He has a fermented still. It's his channel where he sells, and of course, Total Wine. Total Wine, you can find us, and Specs in Texas. Those are the online markets that I can tell you right now that I'm aware of. Of course, there should be more that my distributor haven't shared, but those are the ones that I know of.
so tell us the story behind the uh, behind Carrera, because there's a wonderful story in the background information that you sent us. Why don't you relay that story, because it's got a wonderful, I don't know who wrote that copy for you, but it's a great story, and I'm not even sure if I believe it. Part of it.
Yeah, the story behind the brand was my father registered this brand before everything. He had it already. He loved racing. He loved horse racing since he was young. Uh, he used to do a lot of horse riding. He even ride horses without the chair, just you know.
Bareback. Yeah.
Yeah, so he loves to do horse riding, and he used to do carreras parejeras, which is a race one against one horses where they used to bet and stuff. And when he was there's this story that we use for the brand of when he was really young. He and his brother went to horse racing at Arandas at the Carril at the town.
The raceway is pretty much the raceway.
Yeah, he went racing there. It was closed. They still got in with their horses and get on the racetrack. And the story tells us that when they were finishing up, my father was in front. My uncle was by his side behind him. But when they were close to the end, they saw this chain that there was this chain at the end because it was closed, of course. The story tells that he tells me is that when they were close to the finish, the other horse reaches the other one, and they went at the same time, and they got lucky because by that strength, the horses could broke the chain, and nothing happened to them. Otherwise, if one arrives earlier than the other, you never know.
Yeah, that could
Dangerous.
have been ugly.
Yeah. Wow.
There could have been a tragic end to that story.
So yeah, so he we what we tell on Carrera brand is that to break the chains, break the chains, like be different, uh, break the chains, just do your own thing.
But you're breaking the chain, but you're doing it the old-fashioned way, and
Yeah,
that's really
Yeah.
that's see to me that's innovative, because Jim and I, like I said, we've had several tequilas and some mezcals, and some of them are more mainstream than others, and everybody wants to you know overproduce and get out there, and you got celebrities that are promoting their brands, and the market's being flooded by, in my opinion, mediocre and lesser brands, and
mhm,
yet they have a
Yeah.
bigger name. And then comes along Carrera, that apparently has been around longer than I've known, and you're disrupting the market, okay? But you're not saying that. You're disrupting it by bringing back the old-fashioned way.
yeah,
And that's what Jim and I fell in love with the juice. I said, I got to talk to this family, because I've been very fortunate. I've talked to Alan Camarena about G4. We've had him on Open Bar a couple of years ago.
nice.
I've met Felipe. I know Carlos. We've known each other for a long time. So you're the branch of the Camarena family that I missed somehow. And so I want to really thank you for taking the time with us too, because this is really special for us, because it's a discovery for us that there's still a quality brand out there that is so worth everybody's time, and is, like I said, right up there with the family name. I mean, you guys have a reputation to uphold, whether you guys are together or not. Do you guys ever get together? Do you guys have like big family barbecues or something? I don't know.
Well, just from my grandmother and down, but with the people from the other tequila brands, we don't usually get together.
Ah, okay, okay.
And
Well, I had to ask. I know that they're you guys have all of you have large family
yeah, I mean,
trees.
I wish we do that, but I don't know what's the history between my great grandfather and their brothers, and so I don't know what happened, but yeah, we don't get together.
Well, I got to say that the it's in your blood, man, because it's got to be in your blood. Because like I said, Jim and I flipped. We went bananas. I said, I got to talk to this guy because I need to know. You know, I I ha- I'm sure that Don Mauricio is very um, charismatic, because each of the camarenas that I know are, in their way, are very charismatic. Felipe, everybody in the U.S. calls Felipe a mad scientist because of his innovation and the way he uses his water. And and Carlos, I've interviewed him before. I have a video of him where he was in L.A. and I was in a bar. They were rolling out Tapatio, and I asked him a question. There was a whole bunch of bartenders. It was all for the trade. And I asked him. I said, "Could you explain to us, the who are lay people, explain distillation to us?" And the first things out of his mouth is, "Distillation is the meaning of life." And the crowd went bananas after that. I mean, he just went into it. So I'm very familiar with each of you, and so I needed to have this meeting and show the folks that there is another branch of the Camarena family, which obviously is famous. I didn't know that your family, that branch of the family, was involved in Camarena Tequila. I had no idea.
Yeah. I mean, it's my father and his brothers and my grandmother business of Camarena Tequila, and this is a very small company where it's just my father and I, and that's it. That's the different companies, but yeah, we all work together. We do the bottling and everything at the same distillery, so yeah, it's pretty much the same. Same
Wow.
people take care of the quality, so yeah.
So, what what do you want people to know about Carrera and about your branch of the family? I mean, this is your platform. So I mean, you've obviously been a brand ambassador in other countries for Camarena. So you kind of have a facility to for explaining how what you want to present. So now that you have Carrera, what do you want people to know about it? What do you want to say about you and the family and the background, all that stuff?
Yeah, well, Carrera is a brand that is for a day-to-day use. It's a daily brand. It's not a very, very expensive value bottle that you drink once.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Jim is looking at us incredulously. The quality of this bottle is not for an everyday drink. I mean,
Well, it is if the bottling is right down the hall, and I get that because here I sit in this place where you can't get it. But please expound on that. But I will tell you this: for me, because of the scarcity that I will have just being where I am geographically, this is not an everyday tequila. If it is an everyday tequila, you are a very lucky individual to have this on your shelf at the store. So, but please continue and
yes.
expound on that
Yes.
point.
Thank you. So yeah, for me, I mean, as I see it, as the brand has grown a lot here in Mexico also. So it's like for sipping on a day-to-day basis, a blanco or a cristalino for those more smooth palates that don't like the strength of the tequila. So it's a very traditional tequila, the purest way you can find it. So it's traditional, it's pure, it's the purest you can get it. So it's a day-to-day tequila where you don't get anything different. You will not get surprises. It's just a very well done tequila the traditional way. That's it, pretty much.
Wow. You know, Jim, their idea of an everyday tequila and our idea of an everyday tequila are really two separate markets.
Well, it is, and we're Americans, and we're up here getting distribution of obviously a lot of different stuff, and it's nice for me personally that having grown in this space and learning about agave through Tequila Aficionado, there's so much celebrity tequila on the shelf at my liquor store because the tequila's out there simply because that person was a movie star or a musician or a reality TV star. It's very nice to have celebrities in the tequila world, a family name that's got so much history behind it, present a traditional tequila for people who really enjoy it. For that, I hope that gets as much traction as the Hollywood crap that's coming down the pike. So, thank you so much for sending this to me. I really appreciate it. It's going to go back up on the back of my bar. I'll probably break out a little at Christmas time and then wait another year before I do it again. So yes, it is everyday tequila. If you are in Texas, if you live by a Total Wine,
Yeah.
if you are in Youngstown, Ohio, don't
Yeah,
touch it.
you're familiar with the American market, so you know that Jim lives in a control state.
Yeah,
And,
I know.
and control states, every state runs it differently. Some brands they're primarily dominated by the bigger brands because because they can fill the volume and they just that's just how they operate.
Yeah.
And so when I was so hoping that we would get this to Jim because I have two gentlemen, I have Tequila Aficionado has about 12 tasters now. I have one in the UK, but we're scattered all over the country. And some of us are in California. I have one other gentleman in West Virginia that is also a control state, and he complains the same way Jim does, that they have to go to other states to get quality tequila and bring it back to them. Although Jim and I are going to have an open bar soon together about the I think Ohio has some really unique challenges to the control state environment that can be improved. Because when you have a state like New Hampshire that is famous, it's famous for being a control state, and they're doing it correctly. And I don't see why other control states can't take that business model and work with it. So, I don't know. That's politics. But regardless, I was so glad that Jim got this because he really has a wonderful palate. And very often when we do tastings, I learn from him. I learn from all the guys, even though I've been doing it for like 22 years. But there's always somebody else that brings something new to us. And when I saw this, I said, "Nah, Jim's got to have this one. We've got to, because."
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we really appreciate that you came on. I was gonna ask, what sort of challenges did you find? Well, you kind of mentioned some of the original challenges coming into the United States, but now that you're here, what other challenges do you foresee now for the brand? Now that looks like you're firmly established, maybe not as well known as I would like it to be, but what do you see now as your current challenges in the U.S. in expanding here?
Getting people to know the brand. That's the biggest challenge. We trust the brand, we trust everything behind it. So the biggest challenge for me right now and for the company is get the brand into people, into leaders like you guys that will share with your communities and with your followers the brand in order so people can get to know who is behind the brand, what's inside of it. So that's the biggest challenge for us. To be honest, we are not Cuervo. We don't have the big budgets for marketing, and we are a traditional brand here, trying to be a little bit disruptive, as you said, Mike. But yeah, that's the biggest challenge, to be honest. Of course, we need to have innovation because there is so many brands right now of tequila that I mean, I see like one or two brands each day on Instagram, like this brand, and with a lot of creativity and different names. Some make sense, some don't even make sense, but there's a lot of competition. And if you remain only with the Blanco, Reposado, Añejo, and even Cristalino, you're another one. I mean, you're another brand, so you need to innovate. You need to have extrañejos, double casking, triple casking. Uh, we're launching coming soon. We're launching a steel strength. Carrera. So we're gonna
Please remember your friends here.
for sure we're gonna be sending one for you guys, so you can have another review of it with me, and we can
Absolutely.
maybe talk about it. But yeah, I actually have a little bit here that I can share with you guys so you can have a look. We're looking at two options, but this is pretty much how it's going to look like.
Oh,
Wow.
nice. Look at that. With a copper,
Wow.
it's got a copper stopper. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I ask you? Oh my goodness, 46.
We're thinking about 46 or 54. We're doing research, so which is better for us for steel strength, but it's going to be either of those two.
This is a scoop, folks. Again,
Yeah.
Tequila Aficionado has scooped the competition, and we have none, actually, because we invented drinking online. We did it. We did it years ago before there was the internet. You know, we used to do it on dial-up and do it on audio. And I tell these guys that story. They don't believe me, but we grew up with the internet, and now we have a way to record and to meet you without having to actually meet physically. Are you gonna be the face of the brand? Do you see yourself traveling into the United States and doing these pairing dinners and meeting, and because that seems to be the Camarena way? Because that's how I remember Carlos, and that's how Felipe is. Although Felipe is kind of shy, I'm not sure why. But anyway, do you see yourself doing a lot of that? Because you're used to traveling, right?
Yeah, of course, I see myself doing this. Uh, we couldn't do a lot of traveling because of COVID last year and this year also, but next year hopefully we're gonna be visiting some key accounts in the US, visiting some restaurants, some people, and of course, speaking about the brand, what's behind it, and yeah, of course, I'm gonna be the face, I guess.
Well, when you come to Southern California, you let me know, or if you ever make it to Youngstown, Ohio, uh, you know,
Or I travel too, so I'm happy to go. But yeah, I just I cannot wait for this to get into more states and into more people's hands because I'm really impressed by the method and in your case tradition is the innovation, kind of going back to the roots of the tequila.
love
And
it.
I just cannot, like, some of my bartender friends are going to get a hold of this and think, oh my God, this is killer, and this is what we've been waiting for a long, long time, because they've got to carry the stuff that people ask for, obviously. And I'm just hoping that through the stuff that we're doing here, more people ask for the good stuff and get aware of what it's really supposed to taste like. So I'm just hope I wish you the best with your distribution and your growth in the United States.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you
Uh,
very much. I really appreciate it.
who distributes you in California? Can you say the name, or do you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. It's a Pacific Edge Wine and Spirit.
Oh, Pacific Edge. Okay.
They are
Yeah.
my distributor nationwide. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I
Okay.
need.
Good. Yeah, because I now that I've been here for I grew up in Southern California, and I moved away for years. I've been out of the state for a while. Uh, but right in the middle of COVID, I moved from San Antonio. I moved out here right when it got to be ground zero at of COVID, which kind of sounds counterintuitive. But now that I've been here, I've gotten to know some of some of the representatives who handle, of distribution, restaurateurs that I've had relationships with. So many of them, pay attention to if I have a suggestion or a recommendation, and I want to make sure that any of the restaurants and bars that I'm affiliated with or that we do any events with are aware of Carrera, because this here, if you're carrying G4, if you're carrying Tapatio, if you're carrying Tapatio 110, if you're carrying Still Strength from, you need to carry this. What I'm going to say is your collection is not complete until you have Carrera.
Thank you.
Okay? And that's the bar is up here, and you've broken the chain. You tell Don Mauricio he has broken that chain again.
The chain.
We can't, we're gushing over this tequila because we've had the other ones as well. And now that we know that there's more coming down the pike, and no one else knows it except, if you're watching Tequila Aficionado, you're watching it, we just got a scoop, folks. Exactly. It's coming. We don't know what the ABV is going to be, but I'm sure you'll tell us eventually. And I want to raise my hand. Please, anything that this line, if you can find it in your heart to send us some Cristalino, I would be more than happy. Jim and I would be more than happy to continue the review of the line, because now we know what to expect. And I think the reason that I'm so excited to have you here is because there was something instilled in the distillate of the person who was making it. And it's rare that we get a lot of these brands, and many of them have different flavor profiles, but there's no soul to it. And they call it spirits for a reason. And so there was something I felt in this. And it's a great story that it's not even the grandfather, it's the great-grandfather's soul that was translated by your father, and that you're carrying the banner for. This is,
exactly.
There had to be, you know what I mean? There was, and Jim knows this, if there's a special bourbon, if there's a special scotch that is coming down from somebody that is representative of that person. And I said this to Jim in the review, if I know anything about the Camarenas, is that this has to represent the soul of the family or the person who's responsible for it. And that's what I felt with this. So I needed to find out, I had to reverse engineer this story, so I knew that I was right. I was right all along.
Right, Mike. You were right.
Yeah, again, this is, and Jim is very well connected with the liquor industry in the state of Ohio, with many friends, influential friends, and so it figures that somebody got a hold of his collection before he had a chance to get into it, because we have a rule with our tasters. If whoever gets the tequila first, or the agave spirit first, you know that you're going to get it, don't tell the other person that you've had some before we go on camera, because our show is called Sipping Off the Cuff, and sometimes we never even take the cellophane. I'm so busy that you see me tearing the cellophane right on camera. So that way, if he's had any, that's fine, but don't tell me what you think, because we're going to go on camera and we're going to do it. Like, and I think it's more, I think that the reviews are more genuine that way. Mm-hmm. And literally, when you see those reviews, Lalo, you're gonna laugh, you're gonna cry. I don't know, because we laughed and cried at the same time.